Today I'm showing you why you don't want to throw away any of your tiny little scraps of fabric. So this is my bag of scrap fabric that I've been saving for about 2 years, and if you can't tell, I save every scrap of fabric, not just the ones that are salvageable. I have a really hard time throwing these away because they're just so pretty. And these are too small to do most kinds of quilting, but today I'm going to show you how I'm piecing together a crumb quilt. And this is basically just a technique of using up tiny little scraps of fabric and piecing them into a larger block. For this project, it doesn't matter what size or shape your pieces are because we're going to be sewing them together and creating a block as we go. It's going to be super random, but it's going to work out and be awesome. I'm basically just going to pick random pieces from my scrap stash and start sewing them together at random angles where the edges of the fabric just naturally line up with each other. I'm going to use the narrowest seam allowance that I possibly can so that I'm not losing any fabric and that I'm able to use pieces that are as small as this. I'm not going to press these before I sew them because the seams are going to be so short I don't think there's much point, but I am going to press it as I go so everything is laying really nice before I start getting the blocks bigger. So I will be pressing my actual block, but not these little pieces. So I think we're going to go with black and white and maybe some pink and blue because I like how all of those look together. So we're going to see how that looks. Okay, so here's how that turned out so far, and I decided to drop the blue completely and just do pink and black and white, and I think it looks really cool. I think I'm just gonna go press this with my iron now, and then I think I'm gonna make some more blocks just like this that are about the same size, and then when those blocks are done, I will piece them together. Here's how my second block is going so far, and you can see this is starting to get a little bit of a curve on the side here, and that's just natural when the pieces are so small. You're trying to piece together the lines nice and straight as you go, but then you're gonna have to square them up when you're done. And that's perfectly fine if it curves like that, just because of the way the fabric pieces are shaped. One thing you don't want to do is what I did here, which is attaching an angled piece to a straight piece before having that piece attached to something else, because then I sewed this on and you really can't use this piece here because it's not possible to sew a piece in there nicely. So I think what I'm gonna have to do here is just cut this off and then use it as a different scrap. So I have my first piece and then I have my second piece going here, but I just want to show you what I'm doing about these top edges where they're not even. I could just cut that off with a rotary cutter, but I kind of want to keep this piece here because I think it looks really cool. So what I'm going to do is just attach a narrow strip across the top, and I'm going to sew that on along the edge as straight as I can get it. And then when that seam is done, I'm just going to cut off these little bits of extra fabric on the edges, and that'll help me preserve that piece that I want to keep in the middle. So you can see there I did a super narrow seam, but that's okay because I think I'm going to put interfacing on these at the end, and it doesn't matter if it's super secure at this point. So I just attached that across there, and then I could square up this piece of fabric and keep that piece that I like in the middle. So here's how my first block looks after finishing it. I kept adding to the sides and the top just to make it to the right dimensions that I wanted. And then my second block is very similar in size. So I'm just going to square these up and make sure that they are nice and square on all the sides. And here are my pieces all nice and squared up. The nice thing about this project is you can make these in any size or shape that you need. You can use them as quilt blocks or pot holders or bags or pretty much anything else that you want to use a cute little quilted piece for. I think I'm going to use these to make a little quilted pouch, so I will make another video on that when I have time.